Hello everybody, my name is Rachel Stewart and I am Data Support Specialist here at Open5th. Welcome to this room, which is all about how you can prepare for your data mapping workshop session. This room is aimed at new customers who wish to migrate data from their legacy system into their new Koha system. One of the stages in the process is the data mapping workshop, and this is to help you to prepare for that session and get the most out of it. So what is the data mapping meeting? Well, this is the meeting that will be run by the project manager and the data lead from Open5th. We'll both be present at the meeting. Before we meet, the data specialist will have already received your data and done some initial analysis on it. They will have started to fill in the data mapping worksheet prior to the meeting. In order to do this, we have to look closely at how the information from your legacy system may map over into Koha. We will usually, though, just have a guess at how we think that things will map across. Often we can do this from our experience of other systems or from a previous customer system. But during the meeting, we'll have a look at that, see if we've made the right kind of assumptions and see if there are any changes that you wish us to make. We only fill in part of the spreadsheet, which I'll show you in a minute, and the rest of it we would ask you to complete. And you're usually given around 2 weeks in order to do this. So this is what the data mapping worksheet looks like. It is a shared spreadsheet that really acts as our single source of truth. We at Open5th will fill in usually just the first 2 columns. And this is where we enter the information that we've extracted from your data. We give you counts as well so that you can compare what we've got here with your legacy system. As you can see at the bottom of the worksheet, there are various tabs, including libraries, item types, statuses. I'm going to talk through each of these to help you to understand what we mean in Koha terms. So the first tab is libraries. Libraries are a really important concept in Koha, as every borough is associated with a library and every bibliographic item is associated with the library. Crucially, the circulation rules can be configured per library, such as loan rules and reservation policies. The library users can also limit their searches by a library site to make the searches more relevant to them. I thought it would be useful to show you how libraries appear in Koha. So on this screenshot, you can see that the item is associated with the current library and the home library. We would usually set these to be the same library, their home one, as part of the data migration. Next is the item types. Item types typically refer to the physical or digital categories of material, like DVDs or non-fiction, or they can refer to loan types such as 2-week loan or a 1-day loan, and sometimes a mixture of both. Like libraries, the item types are very important because circulation rules require a library, an item type, and a borrower category, which we'll look at shortly. Also, many other policies are driven by the item type, such as the renewals and reservations. So this is a required field. Every single item in Koha must have an item type associated to it. Finally, just like libraries, the patrons can use item types as a search filter to narrow down their catalogue results. You can see the item types in Koha on this screenshot. This is probably one of the most important things that you can do before the data mapping workshop. Have a look at your current setup and try to work out which items have different rules and therefore require a different item type. Then we can translate this into Koha. Moving on to shelving locations. So these represent the physical location of an item inside the building to help the patrons to physically locate it. They can be general, like shelves, or very specific, like the first floor, bay 1, or they can be grouped by material types, like DVDs or crime. Unlike item types, the shelving locations have no role in circulation rules. They are purely for information and for finding purposes. Patrons can, however, use them to limit their searches in the catalogue. Next is item status. Koha has a predefined set of statuses. Some of these are hard-coded directly into the system logic, such as the in-transit status, but others are highly configurable by you within controlled lists known as authorized value lists. So some common examples of statuses that you might want to map include things like missing, lost, or on order. One of the things worth thinking about before the meeting are whether you want to bring across items for all statuses, or are there some that you would like us to ignore? So collections is another way of grouping your materials. Your library might have items grouped together in a way that is useful for searching or to use for reporting purposes. It's worth thinking about this before the meeting if you can. So similar to shelving locations, collections have no role in your circulation rules and serve strictly as information to help the library users to filter their searches. Okay, so let's move on to the users now. So borrower categories. Categories like item types are vital because alongside item types and libraries, they dictate your circulation rules, the loan allowances, the reservations and fines. They can also be used to organise your patrons into roles and types or age groups. Other policies like enrolment periods, age limits, and default message preferences are also controlled by the borrower category. We also have the borrower attributes. These are custom extra pieces of information such as faculty or course codes, or their very specific marketing and notification preferences. So once these are defined, they will show up as an extra field on the patron record and can be set up as either free text fields or a drop-down pick list. Things to think about the meeting are whether you have different rules for different types of borrowers, and if so, how would you identify these in your data? Also, are there ways in which the borrower can be grouped that would be useful to retain when you bring the data across to Koha? I also wanted to make a quick note about ebooks, as these can be handled a bit differently. If you can have a think about whether you subscribe to packages, whether there's any bib data that you have extracted, and do you have any local records that need retaining? So just to summarize, really, this is what we require from you as the customer in order to prepare successfully for the meeting. So we need your help to understand what the data from your legacy system actually means. So before the mapping meeting, it would be really beneficial if you and your team could think about the following questions. So first of all, what do you want to use for item types? Secondly, do you currently use any collection or shelving locations? Is there data that you would like to use in the same way? Is there any data that you no longer need in the system and that can be cleaned up? How are your users currently set up and how are different rules picked up currently? And also to have a think about your ebooks, whether there are packages or whether they are local. So thank you for your time and for listening. If you have any other data questions as you prepare for the workshop, then please don't hesitate to reach out to the data team. You can contact us on the emails below, and we look forward to working with you on this migration.